Good evening, guys. Hope everyone's good tonight. So we've got Bitcoin moving up. It's done a couple of days now. 1, 2, 3, which is looking good. I mean, I would like nothing more than Bitcoin just to blast through this right now. But as I've said previously, I am cautious of it, and I've made the case of why I'm cautious of it. But there is signs to show, maybe, just maybe, things are starting to turn around. Because you can see, from November 2024 to December, the exchange volume's been just on a downtrend. But if you can see right there, the last tick, last day was 33.3 billion, now it's 34.5 billion. And when these round off, they tend to round off and come up. So maybe this is a start, you know. This is the 7-day moving average, so it does take a wee while to change. If we've had some big movement in the last couple of days, say here, like we have, it is getting bullish. Maybe volume starting to come in, and if volume backs this move, then brilliant, we're off. But let's look into liquidity and see where my concerns are. So we're on the 48 hour now. We're building a liquidity range. This is basically when Bitcoin just stays in a tight range and then people are opening shorts, betting the price is going to go down and building liquidity, and people are betting the price is going to go up and building liquidity at the bottom. And this is what these ranges are designed to do, and then Bitcoin will normally sweep both sides and take it all. But as you can see here, we're starting to build liquidity at the top end. See? I mean, there's all this liquidity at the bottom. But if we're at 80, say 88,000 now, and 89,000 has liquidity, the kind of psychological move would be like, let's just go up and sweep that. If I was the market, I would go there and take that and go down, because that is the path, the shortest path. So let's just say we do take that liquidity, 89,000, and then we go on to 89,000 here. There we are. Can you not see that is bang on the trend line? So if that volume does not curl up and continues dripping down, and we have liquidity at 89,000, and that comes up pretty much bang on to our resistance, that means it can take the liquidity here, remove all that from the market, and then it's got the free rein to go down and take it. So if we look at the weekly here, we've still got the big highlights down here are 83, 82, around about that area. And if we go on the 2 weekly, or bi-weekly, 2 weekly, you can see the big moves are down here. So if there is a little bit of liquidity up here, you can see it here. If I was the market, I would go, let me just stop off here, it's just down the road, get some fuel, get some petrol before the long journey. And for it to hit the liquidity and there be nothing else there, it would make sense to come down. And it's a trend line, and if we go on the weekly, we can see it'll enter into this area here, which is a lot of resistance, as previously discussed yesterday. We have a big strong trend line, and we have a very strong set of EMAs there, and anything in between there is strong resistance. Now if we have just the volume just fires right through, we are absolutely just on. If it just breaks through this with momentum, we're just going. We're not going to come back for liquidity. It's just the move is gonna. It's just like it's like lighting a rocket. Once you light it, once Bitcoin catches fire, it's so hard to stop it. It just goes off once it catches fire. But until it catches fire, it likes to play around a little bit. It likes to break people mentally, just exhaust them. You know, I've talked about this before, but you get price capitulation. There's two types of capitulation. You get price capitulation when price just goes and people get in such a short amount of time, and people get so scared because they think, what is going on here, and they sell it, and it just, everyone sells, and it panic sells, and it adds on to the pressure, and it all builds up and all shoots down, and everyone sells, and it hits the whales buy orders and just sends it right up. So it goes from here right up, V-shaped recovery. Now that is quite traumatic to people, but you know, if you're away from the charts for like a week, you won't even see it happening. But what happens with this time capitulation is the market is just given false hope and slowly breaking you down, and then capitulate it. Then starts building up. And people are too scared to realise what's going on, and then look, all of a sudden, you have this bar up, but it just goes off. So, right now, we have had time capitulation, and then we have had price capitulation. And you know what the crazy thing is? We had I hope you can see this okay. This wick is one of the craziest wicks ever in Bitcoin. And then, you know, that was, you know, that's the range low. So you think here, the range low is just sitting here, and price is just wicked all the way down and sent it right back up. That's almost like price capitulation. If we just go into the daily, you just see it just dump all the way down, and it's a V-shaped recovery straight out. You see it? And the crazy thing about that was after. So we had time capitulation. It's normally one or the other, but we had time capitulation, then price capitulation, then it went straight back up, and then it dumped all the way down. It was like, it was so crazy to see that. It's like, I don't think I've seen that. I can't remember the last time I seen it, but that was so crazy. And then it went and swept the lows. Now, everyone had the right to sell out there because that was the craziest thing ever. Hopefully you guys didn't. We stayed in the trade. We've tried to keep everyone in the trade the best that we can. But I just think that now we're coming up to resistance. We're coming up to take this liquidity, which will just be here. And then from there, is there any liquidity to take right up there? No. But what happens if price comes all the way down here to take this liquidity? So when price comes all the way down to take that, so price comes down, take this liquidity, what happens there? All this liquidity, obviously not trying to get better with my paint tool, all this liquidity starts building, because when price comes down, everyone thinks it's okay, we're going down, so they start betting, and all the liquidity builds, just like it built on here. But it's absolutely top heavy. And then from there, it's taken liquidity down, it's built all that liquidity up, and then the move's redone, and it can just send up, take all that liquidity, and then move. So that is how I think the market is playing right now. And if we look on the daily in the liquidation map, you can see it's round about even. This red area is people betting the price is going to go up, and this green area is people betting the price is going to go down. And that's the scale there. So let's just say 500 to 600 million, pretty much even. And if you look at this, it's kind of there or thereabouts. But if you look on a 7-day here, look at the skew. Now, if you were the market and you wanted to make money, which way do you go? think about it. If you were the market and you had the option to go up and take 1 billion or go down and take 2.5 billion. Now 2.5 billion is right down to 78, but you don't need to do that. The majority of the move is 82, 81, and you have these huge spikes. Look at these huge spikes. See them? There. Price will definitely come for them at least. So that's 83, and that's our first liquidity level that we've got targeted. Now, I'm not too sure if price will come down to 80, but as I've been saying, it's the low 80s I feel like the price is going to come. So somewhere here, I think it'll definitely need to take 83, because there's too much money in that. It's like Pac-Man, the old computer game. It's just going to chase and eat. It's just eating liquidity. So it will not let that get away. You know, the people that take on 50x leverage and 100x leverage, this is what they don't understand. It's very rare for the market to let them get off of that. You've seen it, guys, if you've been part of this channel. I explain it to you pretty much every single day. 100x leverage, a 1% move in the market from your entry price, you'll get liquidated. 50x leverage, a 2% move from your entry price, you'll get liquidated. Bitcoin moves 2% in its sleep. That's why you never win on these high leverage things. And that's why the market has these long ranges, because I think it's just the crypto kind of degen people that we are that were in this market. But it's not, it does not let people off here like this. It does not let them off. So if it doesn't come down to 81, it'll definitely come for that. And that kind of coincides with what we're thinking anyway. We're thinking of this just kind of ranging a wee bit longer, getting right there. Now Bitcoin, this is the low, so we cannot fail this low. We're above trend and all this, so we're moving towards the breakout, but we cannot fail that low. That is not a good sign for us. And if we look at our liquidity on the two offsets that we're following, we're expecting a pullback here, which makes sense. Let's just see if we can kind of sync this up a little bit. We're expecting a pullback from there, and then the other one that we're tracking. So if Bitcoin pulls back and blasts off, we know we're on the 77-day. Now, if Bitcoin pulls back and doesn't blast off and ranges a wee bit longer, we know that we're more likely on the 105-day offset. But both offsets have this pulling back. We've got a strong trend line. We've got resistance on the EMAs. Got decrease in volume, although it is starting to curl up there just slightly. And we've got these large liquidity pockets that need to be taken. So we've got our levels. For me, I think 83 is I just cannot see a market that lets 83 get away. It might let 80 get away, but 83, I just can't see it. Now, when Bitcoin, like I said, when it moves, it does move. So the way I can read the market, I'm pretty good at reading the market, the way it kind of follows around and all that. But once it just sets on fire and goes, you know, I just have to let Bitcoin go, and that's it. You know what I mean? If that just goes off there, you know, the one time them guys have opened up the leverage longs, they've got it. You know, they've got it. But 99 times out of 100 comes back and gets it. That's why I'm able to read the market, because Bitcoin ranges a lot. It just kind of chops around a lot and then does that massive blow-off move. And when it's in the blow-off move, you just know it's going higher. So you're pretty much selling so, and then it gets into a chop. Then blasts again. So that's pretty much the update, guys. If you found this useful, please, guys, I've got another couple of subscribers now. We're getting so close to that 100 subscriber. And for me, that was a big milestone. I thought I would actually take longer to get that. I was expecting for it to be obviously just a snowball effect, but to really take a while to get some momentum. But like I said, you guys keep watching the videos, you keep liking, you keep commenting. I've even seen some people share it when I was looking at analytics, which I think is just crazy. But I'm glad that you guys are getting something from this, because I generally like giving this, I like producing this kind of content, actually, to be honest. I like being able to teach or just explain to people. A lot of people think it's like, it's just like there's a lot of BS that confuses people. I think that's probably the best way of putting it. And I just like to strip that all out. And don't get me wrong, there'll be times when I am wrong, and there's times that I'm right, 100%. And you know, can't be right all the time. But anyone that's been watching and subscribed to my channel, you know I read the charts pretty well, pretty consistent. So I know, guys. Like I said, if you watch the videos and you find them useful, please give it a subscribe button. I want to get to this 100. I've got a. I am quite competitive as well, so when I set myself a goal, I'm like, come on, let's get there. No, but much appreciated, guys, and I'll be again tomorrow, around about the same time, 8-9 p.m. UK time. Normally the videos go out, and I'll just go through the daily update like this, and hopefully we just blast through. And that's the rocket lit under Bitcoin. I'm more than happy for that to go that way. But for me, I just think it needs a wee pullback here, a wee bit more chop before moving. Okay, guys, cheers. Same time again tomorrow. Have a good night and speak to you tomorrow. Cheers.